Hi everyone, I'm Kate, and I'm currently a grade 11 student at Appleby College in Ontario, Canada. Every month, I experience 7 days of excruciating pain due to menstrual cramps. That means that 1 out of every 4 days, I am unable to get up out of my bed or to just focus on my work because I'm so tired or so in pain. And this is something that affects half of our population. We are handicapped due to a lack of energy, loss of blood, headaches, nausea, cramps, and that results in a vicious cycle. That's why my belief is that we must act to allow everyone the ability to speak up, to ask for help, to ask for remedies for our pain. And I want to destigmatize the topic so that we are not suffering in silence. The Unmuted Pain Project was created with the goal of normalizing speech about dysmenorrhea, another word for painful cramps. I want the society to learn about it and for everyone to understand what we suffer through. Personally, I can't work effectively because I'm in so much pain, and that causes extreme stress to the point of burnout all the time. My friends often comment that my face is drained of blood due to the pain, and they can see it visually. For the past couple of years, I've received a lot of mixed recommendations for what I should do. So from my doctor, I heard about taking painkillers and using hormonal medicine. My best friend told me to use hot compression, and my mother advocated for traditional Chinese medicine and warm clothing. My father introduced a variety of hot teas and a lot of Chinese medicine. A past roommate of mine told me that birth control pills work really well for controlling cramps. I was having a lot of stress over who to listen to, and all of the advice were drastically different culturally wise. However, I tried to use all of them, and I could finally breathe without heaving once every 4 days. So there was this one time that after taking ibuprofen and acetaminophen several hours apart as suggested by research studies, I was going to school in my first period English class, and we were trying to read out a play. Keyword trying, me. And basically, I was feeling really bad, and right after the bell rang for the class to end, I made a beeline for the washroom where I threw up a couple of times, had a really upset stomach, and really was not feeling it. And so my parents came to pick me up, and after an excruciating car ride, I finally got home where I could rest a little bit. I've survived through countless stories like this, and I have usually just tried to survive by taking ibuprofen every 3 to 4 hours. And that's when I learned about acupuncture. And I was a non-believer at first because I thought just some needles, why would they help me with anything? But I tried it anyway, and I tried to have an open mind about it. And after the first session, at night, I didn't take any painkillers, and I felt fine. I didn't have the cramps, well, not as painful as usual. And that was when my dysmenorrhea symptoms started to weaken. None of these methods that I mentioned above were the ones that were recommended to me were taught in the health curriculum that I learned from school. I had to spend several years trying method after method to find one that worked for me. And so I sincerely hope that no one has to go through this, because it is truly a horrible experience. In Canada, we are a culturally diverse community, and the method that really helped me was acupuncture, and that comes from my Chinese heritage. And that's why I believe that in school, we need to learn cultural remedies for cramps, because there are so many that are not taught and that really work. I wish to advocate for destigmatizing the topic around menstrual cramps, because stigma discourages students to speak up to their teachers for example, extensions, or for them to understand. And it also discourages everyone to ask for help when we need. It mutes us. It mutes our pain. And that's why I want more understanding around the topic. I hope for official school accommodations for people who are experiencing these cramps, these discomfort, and for everyone in our society to understand that there are so many people who are going through this in silence. With this in mind, I decided to interview my friends that I met through international exchanges and conferences to learn more about their cultural experience with menstrual care, where they live, and their school, how their school deals with these topics. So please enjoy, and I hope you learned something from this.
Just push through it. I don't really know anything else I can do.
I've learned more about what painkillers are better to take, curl up in bed and watch a movie or something. And
I talk to people, depending, right? Because I want to say I get more stingy. I think I usually, I go for sweet treats. That's where it's at. Sometimes if the pain's super, super bad, a hot water bottle, or just turning my room temperature up, and painkillers.
I would normally take a pill, like a pain reliever pill. And also if I'm in school, they'll give us heating pads.
It's not medicine, it's just like a substance which is called valeriana, which really calms me down when I'm feeling stressed. And also I usually drink warm things such as warm water, or I eat chocolate because chocolate just makes me feel better. And yeah, I remind myself that it is okay and it is normal to feel that way.
With my friend, I'll go somewhere to change my mood.
I usually take medications like ibuprofen or acetaminophen. If you have cravings, you should eat them.
Rest and don't do a lot of heavy exercises. You should also hydrate a lot. It doesn't have to be hot water. You just drink a lot of water so you're not dehydrated. And also maybe put a heating pad on to help you feel better.
Listening to music, reading a book, definitely going on walks when my period's ending near the end. Going on walks and moving my body, because I find that when I'm on my period, I'll avoid as much movement as I can just because it just hurts to move, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So near the end of my period, I'll definitely go out for a walk, I might go out for a drive, have something sweet. I try not to eat a lot of sugars or drink caffeine while I'm on my period, but then I'll have a small a slice of cake or something at the end just to make myself feel better.
Just drink a lot of tea. Actually, it helps. We have medications like anti-dis, and this is this is working pretty well. That's what I take. And a lot of sleep actually. And trying sometimes I just do yoga.
I think some kind of tea, they do a lime and a lot of herbal tea.
Yerba Luisa, I don't know, and they just give it to me when I'm feeling sick. They will give it to me a cup of that with lemon and honey in it, and that's medicine.
I think we rely a lot on medicine, and so people will take painkillers. But also, I know a lot of people do heat pads.
You've got the usual, you've got your heat packs, you've got your painkillers. I know that I use Naprogesic a lot when I have cramps. And I know that a lot of women around me also use that as a way to relieve cramps. And then also building on that exercise culture, the outdoor exercise culture. A lot of us will do light exercise just to keep everything circulating and stuff. And then you've also got eating really iron-rich foods like red meats and leafy greens. Staying really hydrated and trying to avoid really excessive sugary stuff, herbal teas and stuff.
The first time when we get period, we will eat the other type of rice in azuki. It mixing the rice. It's a traditional way, I think. It's celebrating.
I think for Indian culture, a lot of home remedies, a lot of natural medicines, drinking like warm teas, using hot compressions, a lot of herbal teas. Not exactly sure what kind, but
Probably to eat like foods that are good for your body and to drink a lot of hot water. Definitely to like wear a lot and don't have your legs with like uncovered, and also to drink a lot of things, warm drinks like tea.
Some people like dark chocolate and tea. I wouldn't say that's catered to African Americans, but sometimes herbal teas and lavender oils and dark chocolate.
Yes, actually, we're super big on like natural remedies in the Middle East. Like we're super big on that. So growing up, my mom would always like she'd go crazy with like teas and like honey and like all this like natural stuff to like make women feel better. The Middle East is also really big on like staying clean. So there's like certain soaps that we use like on like our bodies, and there's like a way that we like clean like down there to like clean like all like the blood away. So it's kind of like a special cultural thing, but we're very big on like skincare is like a really big thing for us.
We have some also like that, like peppermint for a lot of things, like fever, or if you're very tired, herbal tea most of the time, like drink green tea. Yeah, nothing too strong because I feel like my stomach is very fragile during my period. Hot water helps a lot. Tea, like herbal tea, or I would say sugar sometimes, like chocolate and everything. We just give us that, and we hope that it will help you, but it's not really helping. And yeah, but we don't have anything else for cramps actually, except like actual medication.
Maybe some people will choose to take this kind of traditional medicine and you have a long-term maybe treatment to their cramps.
There actually isn't a lot of information on how to take care of yourself. I think people just figure out a way to cope with everything.
Boys especially know nothing about it. Like they think like we just like bleed out on the same like place that we pee. Like you're wearing tampon. Really? I would not tell my grandma that I wear a tampon tipple. I would be like embarrassed.
Maybe some parents will not let their children to take too much medicine during their cramps because they think this kind of medicine is bad for their health.
I'd say as you get older, it isn't. I feel like now that with my prom at least, we often talk about it. Like we have no worries about it. With teachers neither. But I feel like when you're like little, like in 8th grade, 7th grade, and lower, I guess it's just weird for them. And because there's not really space for them to talk about it. And actually, regarding the topic of teachers, I'd say that it's common to talk with the teachers that you have like trust in, and when teachers that you're really open with. But when it comes like, for example, as a girl, when you're having like an emergency per se, I often find it easier to tell that a male teacher because I feel like a male teacher won't.
There is, I think a lot of people find it really, really weird to talk to, would talk about. A lot of girls like going through it and they just don't know really how to cope with certain things.
In our community here in Ontario, I don't think so. I think people really encourage taking care of yourself when you're on your period. For Indian culture, it's more of like something that you shouldn't really talk about. There's a lot of stigma around that, but I think people have begun being more open about it.
Kind of, that it's gross and little boys, middle school boys are just, hey girl, blah, 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 blah. It's just hide it, conceal it, don't tell anybody about it.
I often find it easier to tell that a male teacher because I feel like a male teacher won't question anything because it's just like taboo for them. So they just go like, yeah, go do what you need to do. But when it's a woman teacher, they often start asking you like, oh, don't make such a drama about it. Like, I've been through that.
I did boarding school for my high school, so I could like go to my room if I was sick, and I think I used it a couple of times to be like, I have to just lay down right now or wait until the painkillers work and then I can attend class. And I think the teacher was understanding of it. I think even some teachers didn't give me absence from the class.
Probably not, because I think there's still like a bit of sensitivity around that, and some teachers maybe I would feel comfortable around them if they're like female, but if they're male, it would cause them to feel uncomfortable and also would make me feel uncomfortable, so I probably wouldn't want to ask that.
The women, not the men.
Some may understand, others may say that cramps aren't really like a reason to miss those type of things.
Your parents or your guardians need to send your medical check or receipt so that they see how many days you have like scripted to be off. But in the meantime, you also have to still be sending emails to every single one of your teachers that you're having on the days that you're absent, so that they send you the coursework so that you don't get late in anything.
We can fill out misadventure forms, which is literally just a form where you have to like provide your name, your year, the class, how long you've been sick for approximately, and how long you've known about the exam. And then you also have to provide a medical certificate outlining what's wrong, like what accommodations need to be made and how long that should last. And then also like a letter from your parent or guardian.
I don't think so. If I skip the class or skip the exam, I cannot take again in my high school.
I think for health reasons in general, I don't know if there's anything specific to periods though.
Okay. But you would think that it would still apply.
Yeah.
No. Unless your parent or if you're over 18 gave you a written excuse. No. You need a doctor's note as well. Once last year, I asked if I could stay in the restroom for a moment just to gather myself. But I still got logged in my school.
Yes, we do. Like if you're sick, you have to catch up with all your work if you come back. But if you're like sick at school and you have to come back to your house, it's very hard because most of the time the teachers, they don't believe you, so you can't go back to your house. So yeah, they just give you sugar or some medication sometimes. It doesn't help. But yeah, in France, in my school, and I know that it's in a lot of schools as well, even if you're sick, you have to go to school.
Yeah, it should, because like I know that one of my friends a couple weeks before I left for England, she was bedridden because she was just in so much pain. It was like she couldn't do anything.
I mean, in PE, there's a section where they say lives a healthy lifestyle, and they make us do a representation of the food chain, like. But other than that, like, not much.
No, actually, we don't.
Not in elementary or middle school.
The popular brand of like period stuff came to school, and they gave us the most horrible presentation ever. Use this brand. Had friends that actually didn't know or didn't really realize, and like my friend was like, for a week I thought I was dying and I didn't want to tell my mom. They didn't really say like you're gonna get like severe mood swings and like cramps are not fun. And then like you might get diarrhea. Like they don't tell you that stuff.
No. I think mental health we have, but for like this kind of sex ed, we don't have it. Yeah, and we all know that as a kind of drawbacks for our like health or other things.
But I think it's not something that is talked about a lot, how to take care of yourself or what can you do to work. I think it was mostly like, okay, you'll get your period, you have to use a pad, you know. I do not recall us talking about anything with cramps and how to prevent it or take care of it.
They told us more about the physical, the physical application, how you're gonna feel, what changes you might develop, and how to go through that normally and not to like freak yourself out. Like medication, eat their way through it, snack, indulge themselves. And like hot water bottles, they were like, and they mentioned hot water bottles, anything that could provide you comfort, essentially.
I think the only thing that I learned about like periods and stuff when I was at school came from my science classes, and that was a lot more the biology behind it.
I have a class that is called No is a Must, in which they teach us about self-care in like all the aspects of life, like menstrual care, also sexual education, and just like being okay with oneself and with the others. But that is in my school, because my school really focuses a lot on that aspect. But I know that in some other schools, especially in public ones, there isn't really much education about self-care. And yeah, I don't know, I would love Colombia to focus more on that aspect of our lives, because it's really important. But yeah, there aren't many practices about it. Well, they first teach us about what is the menstrual cycle, why it is caused, and like what are the common things about it, like the duration of the cycle, and also how to take care of ourselves during that period. For example, I learned from school that when we are menstruating, it is good to do a kind of exercise that is low impact and to eat food with lots of fiber or stuff like that. So yeah, like those little things about what is normal and what we should do in order to take care of ourselves.
And in Japan, it's not so common. So it's like just one culture, one lecture at the like bigger place. Like some people come to the school and tell everything just one time for everyone, like every student. It's not in the class. It's like school event. It's just one time, once a year, I think. It's like some pages on textbook. So like a little bit in the class. So it's not so specific way.
I think at our school, or my school, especially since it's an all-girls school, I think they do a really good job of teaching us how to take care of ourselves on our periods. And I really like that they try to decrease the stigma around it and really tell us not to be ashamed of it, because it's a natural process, of course.
Definitely not. Mother taught me the anatomy of the ovulation process and the uterus shedding its lining, but not in school.
Oh, no. I haven't learned a thing from the Canadian system at all. Like, nothing.
Not really. Here in Colombia, we don't get to access to that kind of education. It's something that's made specifically on your family, like your parents are the ones responsible of teaching you those kind of things, but still they don't in many cases, because it's kind of like a topic that is not usually spoken about in Colombia. There are many girls in Colombia that don't really even know that it exists, and they'll get it and they'll be really confused because they don't know what's happening to them. I'd say that we definitely need to have more of a structure about when to talk to people, but most importantly, how constant we are on reminding students about these changes and everything.
The anatomy, the processes, what's actually going on, how to take care of it, tips and tricks on how to make your cramps feel better. I don't know, the benefits of hysterectomies.
It would be because I knew that was I just like last year, like a couple of years ago, like recently, found out that that was part of like my period.
Yeah, I do think.
I think it would be good also to accept, make an acceptance a society where it's acceptable for a woman to say I'm sick today because my body hurts. And I think that accept might lack some places, especially if you're in a very male-dominated like business. But I think it would be good if there were focus on that both genders also learned about the opposite genders, like what happens in their body, because you have to live in the same society and understand that they have certain problems maybe.
I think it will be actually really useful, and the fact that we don't know about it also like limits us on the like measures we can take on like all the consequences and all the pain we go through.
I think it is really important because like I said before, there are a lot of girls going through it who just are struggling in silence, because like I went to a boarding school, so these girls didn't have their mums there all the time, so I was really lucky I could talk to my mum. These girls don't necessarily always have that ability to talk to their mums, so I think it's something that definitely needs to be talked about more.
It's definitely important because it's something that everyone should learn about, and it's not taught enough because it's important, and people shouldn't view it as like, oh, disgusting or like inappropriate because it's biology. And also, if parents tell you, it may be biased because they might not have the proper education about it. So it's important that like people from a young age learn about these things so they don't have any like misunderstandings.
Yeah, definitely.
Yes. Just to demystify the stigmas, spread awareness, and just make it less uncomfortable to talk about. Because I mean, everyone goes through it.